Legs Media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up. What's up? This is Ines Lubia, and thank you for tuning in. This is Say It With Your Legs Media. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm going to hit the mic there. I Say It With Your Legs Media. So we're going to get into this Rwanda Stage 7, the canceling of Stage 7 at the Tour de Rwanda. And straight off the bat, I just like looking at the crash and what happened. It just blows my mind. It just really blows my mind to see that they stopped and the riders protested and stopped the race, which was led by the yellow jersey, by the way. Let's not just gloss over that. Led by the yellow jersey, Fabien Dubé, and I'm Tyler. You can see the title of the video is Dubious Dubé leads protests to stop the Tour de Rwanda. I thought, after, it's like canceled. So, when they canceled that stage of the Tour de France where they had the mudslide and all the mud came across the road, so it made the road unpassable, you can't do nothing about that. Nature wants to remove the whole entire road or block the entire road. Not much you can do about that. But I just thought that was insane. And then even if you go back a few years ago, it was the last year or the year before, where Jonas was racing, and they were racing, I believe it was in Mallorca, and they just had unseasonably cold weather, and it was snowing. So it snowed really heavy. The rider stopped the race there. I'm like, what? It's there's precaution, and then there's over the top. And this Tour de Rwanda was over the top. Now, let's look at Mr. Dubé. He was leading Hanuk Malubarahan by 6 seconds. Now, it was a circuit race, and there is a good chance, like on this list, well, it wasn't a circuit race, it was a road race where they did laps on a circuit, and then they went out into the country and then came back and was meant to finish the race on the circuit of the laps on the circuit of the race. And this race is being tested out for the World Championships. I need to find, for some reason I can't, in my head, I can't remember what year it was, but it was a World Championships, and it just rained from beginning to end. It wasn't the one that Lance Armstrong won, or maybe it was. I'm not quite sure. It might have been, because that race also rained from the beginning to end. That World Championships that Lance Armstrong won, but it was either that one. I'm going to go back and look at that. It might even be that one, but the crashes in that race from beginning to end was crazy. And it was crashes where guys weren't getting hurt or anything. They were just riding. There was one point they just riding in a straight line, and because of the paint the lines on the road, and the water and everything, and the paint the lines become like oil and ice and stuff, they were just riding in a straight line, and all of a sudden, they would crash it. It'll be, they'll be on the deck, and it was at least a crash a lap. Then the rain stopped for a period, and then it finished in the rain again. But I remember that race clearly. Just remembered how many crashes, because I watched that World Championship from beginning to end, and how many. It might have been even recent. It might have been even after 2010, because I was able to watch it. Because before 2010, you weren't able to watch the races. We didn't have access to the broadcast and stuff, but we got access like some years later. So it might have been even after 2010. So I have to go and look and see what race it was. And it was just non-stop crashes. But guess what they did? They finished the race. The guys got up. No one protested. No one quit. They got up and they got on with it. I just think today's day and age, we are just too, we want to be so cautious to the point where the whole point of racing and cycling, there's a throw behind it. When you're coming down some of those descents and you can hit up to 60 miles per hour, 100 kilometers an hour, you are on the edge. At that speed, any wrong move could be the last move. But we do that. But when you get so cautious and protective about every and anything, you just, racing gets neutralized. You can't race. It just, everything is super safe. There's no technical aspects to to get rid of riders, like to drop the, to defeat. I wouldn't say get rid of the, or defeat, or to compete, beat your competitors. I remember this one race that I was doing, and in the corner, like, because it was on a city circuit, so there's quite a bit of traffic and stuff. So you tend to get like little, obviously vehicles leave oil and stuff. But there's one corner, and not just that, because it was, on my home island, the tarmac gets really hot in the summer. So when cars are turning on these corners, what happens is they make little ripples, like, going in the shape of the turn. So we were doing this criteria, man. We were hitting this corner, and the corner came off of a downhill and then made a really hard right. But then on in the corner was like all of these, like it just like went like this, and then even a couple bumps going against, because the traffic went that way and then that way. So you're gonna get ripples going like either way. So going with the corner and then going against the corner. So it was a pretty gnarly thing. And then when I started the race, I noticed that guys were being really cautious in that corner, and I just like, I just got light on the handlebars, lowered my center of gravity, and just like sort of, because I did mountain biking, so I had that sort of agility from mountain bike, and I would almost let the bike drift, but bounce through the corner, but and I literally won the race off of that point, because riders, they had to assess, they had to, you know, you know, take into account the risk factor for them. And I was willing to take the risk. I trusted my tires and I trusted my ability. And just literally, so it's the same thing with the Tour de Rwanda. So it's supposed to be talking about the Tour de Rwanda. So it's the same thing. They stopped the race because of a corner where I'm not going to say it was just that corner, but every time you see the highlights of why the race was stopped, it goes back to that corner. That corner goes, and then you see they're coming to the start line, and at the front of the peloton is Fabian Dubé and his Total Energies team, and he's flagging everyone down, and talking to, sorry if you heard that stomach growl. I didn't know why my stomach growl. I had plenty to eat, but Fabian, he's orchestrating the thing. Then you see the officials talking afterwards, like going over like what's going on, what happens, trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and then they go on to uh, conclude that they're going to cancel the stage because of the riders protesting and being led by Fabian Dubé. And I just thought that was just crazy. But you can see it was heated. I can see some of the other riders that were like, like hands, like, no, like, why are we stopping the race? What's the point? Like, they finished the race, and then the rain had been quite a bit of rain earlier in the race, but when they stopped the race, it wasn't raining. It was dry. There was no rain, so the course is obviously drying out, and and then you got to think about, this is going to be the circuit that the World Championship is going to be on. It's going to be on this circuit, and I sent somebody's posted, like, what could have been done and stuff, and it comes down to risk assessment. So if the riders, like, so if the World Championships is there and the riders are coming to the corner, and they come to the corner that first time, and a bunch of guys slide out, and they're doing, say, 45 kilometers coming into the corner, a bunch of riders slide out. Guess what the riders do? Next time they come to the corner at 35 kilometers, not 45. And if they make it through safely, then it's pushing that boundary. Okay, I did 35, can I do 36, 36.5? And it just fluctuates through that, because that sometimes that 1.5 kilometer per hour can make a difference between making the guy behind you suffer just a little bit more to catch up. So, and those are the things where risk assessment comes into play, where being the smartest rider and not just the strongest rider comes into play. And 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 to be honest, I'm gonna go somewhere else with this. I think, like, having radio communication inside of the peloton has also, it's dulled the senses of the riders. So, like, riders just don't have to think anymore. So they just go do all of their programs, the whatever they need to do to get strong and fit, and it's just focused on going forward fast, and that's all there's focused on. There's no, there's very little strategy involved, like, in the individual riders anymore. Tadej Pogacar, Matthew Van Der Poel, Wout van Aert, someone like rides for EF, Richard Carapaz, and also rides for UAE. What's his name? Mark, 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 the Mark guy that rides for UAE. Can't remember his last name right now, but those are the riders that come off the top, off the top of my head, that I can tell you that when they do ride, they genuinely ride off a feel a lot. Yeah, they may listen to the radio and stuff, but they also know their competitors. They know the courses that they're riding on, and then they know their bike, and to me, Jonas feels so robotic. He doesn't really rely on his ability so much. If you even watch the Tour de France and you watch back the movies, like the movies and the reviews of the Tour de France, and you see the guys are talking to Jonas, come on, Jonas, you got this. And whereas if Jonas didn't have those guys in his ear, he probably would, oh no, Tade's got this, I'm going to give up. But he didn't give up because there's a guy in his ear. Whereas Tade doesn't matter if anybody's in his ear. He knows his ability. Tade knows when he's done, and Tade knows when he's going to crush you. And the thing about it, Tade, you can see it. Look at that last year, that stage last year at the Tour, that climbing stage where Jonas out sprinted Tade, won by like a half a wheel or something, but nipped him out. That day, Tade was done. Tade knew he was done. Tade sent the signs out. Like it was as plain as day. Like while you're watching it, and I wasn't sure of, like, why is Jonas doing? You can see that something happened. Like Tade was just not responding. And sure enough, he didn't eat enough and he had bumped and stuff. So Jonas could have probably won that stage by a lot more, but he wasn't riding off his instinct. Like, he couldn't tell because he couldn't read the rider, because he's used to someone in his ear telling him, yeah, Tade's done, you should just go for it. So and this would bring it all back to the Tour de Rwanda. It's just crazy. These are up and coming riders that should be looking for every opportunity to do what they need to do on Tour Rwanda is now the race is getting a lot of attention, and after this, it's going to be massive attention. So then it's going to come back to the World Championships. They're not canceling the World Championships. So Mr. Dubé, Fabian Dubé, this all comes back to Fabian Dubé. I just thought that was ridiculous. I thought that was crazy, and partially I'm going to be the devil. I'm going to play the devil as no, I'm not going to play the devil advocate. I'm going to be the villain in this, and I'm going to say that Mr. Dubé knew that his 6 seconds was in jeopardy because he had the two Eritrean riders, Hanuk Malubaran, and then it's Faha, I think it's Faray, in that he had to deal with, and the rest of his Total Energies team wasn't strong enough to deal with Hanuk and Faray on that couple climb. So, and I think he would have got done on that last lap on that couple climb. He would have lost that 6 seconds, then he would have lost that yellow jersey. So when it comes back to the UCI and they're going over all of this stuff, I think he should be, I don't know if they're going to let him keep his yellow jersey, but something should be done. That was not, I don't care what anybody says. I went all over the place with this, talking about all different other scenarios to try to relate and bring it back to this moment in the Tour of Rwanda. That was crazy. That was insane. And I know how the officials must have felt. To try not to be. You needed a Lefay. What's this Lefay? That's his name, Lefay, the former director of Citadel Quickstep, Patrick Lefay. Patrick Lefay. You needed a Patrick Lefay. Patrick Lefay would have been, you issies, get on your bike and ride your bike. So he would have been. It would have been like, like, come on now. What the flipping A? You got the best bikes in the world, the best equipment in the world, the best trainers and food and everything, and this is why you're stopping the race? Come on now. And I could just keep going on. I'm not going to go on anymore. Initially, we say it with your legs media. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm going to produce some t-shirts that I'm going to give away. So I got to get the t-shirts first. And once I get the t-shirts, I'll let you know, and I'm giving them away. But please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for tuning in. And I will see you on the next one. Seven Your Legs Media, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.